you can't just be a DJ anymore. You need to be a producer to get on the main stage. And then after COVID, you don't need to be a producer already. You just need to be a content creator filming yourself with 20,000 people behind you jumping. And then that's how you get booked.
It's very difficult to let go of like things you're great at and then you move into something that you're so bad at. Then you have a lot of this sort of conversation whereby, you know, these new guys, they have been like barely in the scene and they're blowing up. What the hell is going on, man? They are not even as skillful as me, but you know, the conversation can also then be like, you're also not exactly as skillful as them when it comes to other things.
The thing that matters at this moment.
Exactly.
I think it's been so many years since we know each other already. Like, I think 12, 14 years or something. I think more than you before you know me, because you were DMC champion. You're competing that year.
Yeah, I probably know you for at least like 15 years, I think.
That is crazy, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That is crazy. Yeah. For there's this period of time where everybody is like, you are the young kid.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Can you believe that?
Yeah. And we did so many things together over the years, actually, right? Like, I don't know. Like when I went into SP, were you still in SP? Like when
I'm 1990, you are
94.
That means I'm out already, lah.
Out already, lah. Okay. Yeah. Then, there was quite a bit of stuff that we were doing together, I guess. Here and there.
Yeah, like the turntablism band, Singapore Night
Festival.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We did the documentary thing by Mongrel as well.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty funny.
What else?
Yeah.
I think we do like It's a Trap, random DJ nights lah together.
Yeah, at Zouk back then as well. Right.
So when you were you 14 or 16 when you won DMC?
So I took part in the DMCs when I was 15. So I started off with DJ battles first, then after that, then I went to the DMC. So 15, 16 I got third place, then 16 I was vice champion, but I didn't win the Singapore Championships. Then 17 I just stopped competing. Then I moved on to production. But I started turntablism when I was 13. So I spent like 2 years like practicing, then finally.
Damn, 2 years only competing. Fucking trash everybody.
Oh no. No, dude, you imagine like 13 years old when you're in secondary school,
damn free,
it's
full
like
time.
You just studied and you got so much free time. So it's literally the only thing I was doing.
I think that's like a very NREF situation, right? If you think
Exactly. So you got so much time, then you know at that age you could like really focus and zone in so easily, right? You had the privilege of doing that. So it was quite a natural thing to like get good at it within a short span of time.
That's actually a very good point. You know all those YouTube videos, right? They will always title it like, "Oh, you're 40 trying to learn violin. That's not too late." And then right, it's basically saying that everybody say that you young then you learn violin easier, right? It's not actually, but because kids got more free time.
It's not just free time.
That's a huge factor.
Yeah, it's like to be honest, I feel like it's not just free time. There's also like the idea of like mental headspace, right? If you are in your 30s, you're married, you got kids, you got bills to pay, so many things to think about, and then you need to prioritize things, right? But as a kid, literally, it's like you're being fed by your parents, and then that's the only thing you need to worry about, whereby, just don't screw up in school, do this, you're fine. So the mental headspace is something whereby it's different. But I can say like if you're in your 40s, right, and then you're like a multi-millionaire, like you have nothing to worry about. I think you can pretty much zone into anything as well, right? So
that is so fucking true.
So that's kind of like
I was telling some of my friends, I was like, okay, you know what, I miss doing DJ routines. So I just tried to create like a mini routine like 4-5 days ago. And then I was so into it, right? I'm like, oh my god, I remember back in the days I was practicing, 45 minutes in, I started to ask myself, am I wasting my life? Like there's people depending on me. Is this going to make me money? Okay. Then I start feeling guilty,
Right.
Then I cannot continue anymore. Then I'm just like, oh no. And somehow music is so spiritual, so emotional, right? How can you like make something when you really don't feel like it? Or when you are anxious, right?
It's tougher, I would say.
Some more, right? I'm trying to do a routine out of the song Anxiety. What the fuck, bro? Yeah. So, and then the DMC story goes on to, I think the winner cannot make it and then you substitute it.
No. It's so funny because, so I remember it very clearly because it's very memorable times, right? So that was, I think 2010. I was doing my O-level posting that time. So Ghetto got first.
Then, many people don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh no, actually, I think that one is 2009. I can't. Yeah, actually, now that I recall, but I think it's 2009. So I think Ghetto won. Then Derek got second. I got third. Then essentially, I was hanging out with Ghetto after the DMCs. We were like jamming. Then when I was on the way back home, I think the next day after that, he messaged me and asked me like, "Do I have chicken pox?" I said, "No, dude. Like, what's up?" Then he said like, "Dude, I got chicken pox, man." I was like, "Oh, then." Like he needed to fly to I think like UK for the DMCs within the week itself, right? Yeah, so in the end he couldn't go. Yeah, but yeah, sucks to be. But I wasn't the one that
was chosen. Right?
Yeah, I wasn't the one that gave him like chicken pox or anything. Yeah,
maybe he
thought like, dude, this guy will screw things up. Yeah, no. But I didn't go. I think Derek went. Yeah,
yeah. So back in the day where DJing was enough to pay the bills, and then eventually it became you can't just be a DJ anymore. You need to be a very very good DJ. Then DMC World DJ Championship is a thing. Then eventually turntablism kind of faded out, and then it becomes you need to be a producer to get on the main stage. And then after COVID, you don't need to be a producer already. You just need to be a content creator filming yourself with 20,000 people behind you jumping, and then that's how you get booked.
Yeah, I feel like this conversation about, essentially moving on to the next thing, right? And then like skill set wise, right? Maybe it gotten to the point whereby people think that, like being a DJ is easy. You should be a producer. Then after the next conversation, it's like being a producer is difficult. I mean, it's easy. You should actually kind of focus more on being have some level of influence, right?
Yeah.
I think like it's not exactly the point whereby like one thing is easy and one thing is more difficult kind of thing, but for most people, especially for like artists, right, they kind of like need to spend time moving forward to the next thing. And it's very difficult to let go of like things you're great at and then you move into something that you're so bad at, right? And especially when you have at least like some level of recognition or influence within the scene for something, and then suddenly there's somebody else that's doing the new thing better than you. I think that is dependent on like whether that person actually like try pushing themselves to something that get them out of the comfort zone and learn more new stuff or not. Then you have a lot of this sort of conversation whereby these new guys, they have been like barely in the scene and they're barely DJ and they're blowing up. Like what the hell is going on, man? Like they are not even as skillful as me, but the conversation can also then be like you're also not exactly as skillful as them when it comes to other things, right?
The thing that matter at this moment.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that perspective is quite important. Then it allows people to understand that like, this is how things work. So you don't exactly get upset because like, like suddenly I'm out of the circle because like I'm not as good as what I thought I actually am kind of thing. Yeah.
I think this really applies to artists like Solomon, like Carl Cox, the OG, right? That they are like so good at, they are literally just DJs, full stop.
Yeah.
But then eventually I guess they are also forced into that music production role, and then eventually having their own record label, and then now fucking Solomon also doing content, arm wrestling challenge with Anima.
Yeah.
So I guess they are really adapting lah.
They have to. And I would believe for this, like the tier A type of artists, right, are not exactly making the thoughts by themselves, right? They are being advised by a team, and then the advisors or consultants are essentially like people that have a lot of experience in whatever fields like marketing, content, creative side. So they have this group of people that actually, influence them, the way they think about their career and all that. Then come to the point whereby if you're a solo artist, you have the challenge of you need to do everything by yourself, right? So that's challenging. That's difficult. And then there's only so much time you have, so much money you can spend to invest as well. So I think that's the point whereby, if you are a little bit more realistic on like what resources you have versus the others, maybe you don't feel as bad as like these guys are killing it, but I'm not. But, based off your resources, maybe you're actually doing really well,
Yeah. People don't really see the behind the scenes, the back end work lah.
Yeah, right. Then they get so like hard on themselves. Then they feel like depressed because I'm not doing enough. But actually, you're actually doing quite a lot.
You're fighting against Team Tiesto, which is 35 people.
Yeah. So you have cases like this. Yeah, exactly.
Cannot lah. Even Usain Bolt got teams.
Yeah.
He's just running, but everything else is so many people.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah. So I think if we can view it that way, right, we can actually even the playing field lah. Yeah. So maybe this year Singapore got chance. Somebody from Singapore go Ultra main stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think like Singapore artists, especially like I don't know, music producers, DJs, singer-songwriters, a lot of them are doing pretty well. I would say so for like what resources they have, things they do. So yeah, never be surprised.
And I think we are doing quite well based on our country's infrastructure also. Because I spoke to someone, right? He said that, do you know we always talk about Singapore got music scene, but we don't have a music industry because it's still a scene, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's the dictionary definition of like industry and scene, but I would assume like just talking about like the total addressable market kind of thing, right? Like, yeah, it's a huge difference. So like, so people need to understand that essentially when you compare like Singapore scene versus, let's don't even talk about like US industry. Let's pick a country near us. You talk about like Thailand industry, Indonesia, Vietnam. Yeah, domestic market is so much bigger. It means a lot of things. It means that you have a bigger market size to sample with on what works, what doesn't work. You got a lot more opportunities because there's a lot more money behind it, right? So when that happens, things get a lot more sustainable, right? But in Singapore, essentially for you to be able to capture all of these things, you typically would need to at least have like a huge level of influence to be able to get to that stage, right? Then you're exportable to other countries.
Yeah. Like, it's so mind-boggling, right, to understand that Indonesia has the 4th largest population in the world, but they are so small.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody on this podcast, I forget who it is, said that, right? Maybe in that country, you can just tell the world, oh, you know, the sky is red, and automatically got 2,000 people agree with you. Because that's how freaking big the country is. So you might be wrong, right? But you can still form a community around what you're wrong about.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think like these countries, when you talk about their scene, right, or I'll probably maybe say even like it's actually more or less industry already. Their impact, especially like for new artists like breaking out, their impact is going to be much more impactful as compared to like somebody from Singapore, right? Because the Singapore market is really small. Yeah.
So what do you think can be done on Singapore's end, right, to break an artist? Because we have so little following, right? Like our friends support us maybe 100 people, but if you are comparatively to an Indonesian guy, they're just starting out, maybe he already got 1,000 people in his village to support him. Yeah. Very hard, right? Or is social media the great equalizer?
I wish I had an answer for you.
Then like, apply for yourself really,
No, I mean like it's so there's different camps, right? And I'm pretty sure like you have conversations with different people. They all say they would have like similar things but different camps.
Yes.
So camp A will say like break into local market first, then export yourself. Then camp B will say like don't bother with the local market, just try to get yourself exported kind of thing. So you do have people that like Singaporean artists that essentially kind of like move overseas to try to venture into that career, and they need to do that because only then they can actually see, experience how is it like, meet the people, you know. So they need to be able to do that. You can't export yourself by being in Singapore.
When they move overseas and become big, right, do they tell people that they are made in Taiwan or they are Singaporean?
I think this is personal choice, to be honest.
Because you want to rally all the, let's just say Indonesian, right? Then you'll be like, hey, you know, I'm like from Indonesia or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, right?
Maybe. I mean, like, maybe some Singaporeans would say, like, they are just Asian, so that they can rally the Asian. You have, I mean, like, it's really a personal thing, you know?
Okay.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah. Makes sense. And then, soon after DMC, and then you got into production, right? And then, what made you, quote unquote, leave music? Because you have not been geeking for decades, bro.
It felt like decades.
It felt like decades. Don't you miss the rush?
My last show was New Year's Eve, right before COVID. Yeah. I think, I don't know, I can't remember. I think that's like probably like 2020, like 2019 New Year's Eve. So, I mean, 2019's New Year, so 2020 New Year's Eve. Yeah, that was my last show. I was still doing music, but I guess the truth behind that is that like when COVID hit, you literally could not do any show at all, right? So I was thinking like, what can I do to like reinvent myself, right? So I went like heavily into like production, and then like pushed out like a lot of music during that period of time. Then I was trying to focus a little bit more on like content creation and stuff like that. But the question falls back into like, are you actually able to monetize this thing so quickly? Because being an artist, you essentially need two things. I mean, for like music, like electronic music artists, right, you need two things, whereby you need to be able to do shows to promote your music, and then of course you need the content, which is the music produced. So you can have like so much content, but there's no shows to promote it. That's an issue. Then second thing is that if you're in the middle of monetizing stuff, you don't exactly have huge capital to invest in your content as well. So the impact is very limited. So I think like, to me, I felt like I was at a point whereby it's not really about the case of like, I love music, but it's not really the case of like, I need to do music for my whole life kind of thing. But it's more of like, in terms of my personal growth, I'm not learning anything.
Right.
I'm not doing new stuff. I'm literally stuck there. So at that point, I felt like maybe I should kind of like take a step back and do something else first. Because I value like personal growth quite a lot. Like
Yes,
to actually
COVID,
learn.
like
Yeah,
2019.
COVID time, yeah. Then, the story always go like, you kind of like juggle both here and there. So I think I was still doing like things here and there, but over the past, like after 1 or 2 years, then I was like, I have the time, but I don't have the headspace anymore. You're so exhausted with life and all that. Yeah.
Adulting, then we lost ourselves. When you say that's a risk.
Yeah, it's always part and parcel of it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like for this period of time when you stop doing what you originally love, right? It means that you're gonna give it up forever. It's never the case.
Come back another season.
Yeah, you can always come back another season. I still do spend time like writing and creating music here and there. I enjoy the process of it and I love it. It brings me like a certain type of joy that you can't get like anywhere else, right? So I do still do that. But in terms of actually putting music out, doing that whole thing again, it's just something that like I needed to really think through on like, why would I want to put music out? Like, for what reason, right?
Wow, that's quite deep. And then you left, and then how difficult it is to find a job, right? When you have been doing music all this while, ever since graduating, right? Yeah. What was the process like?
Great question. Like a lot of people ask me that as well. It wasn't easy, but I wasn't just doing music as well, because
you're running a label or something.
Yeah, I was running a label, dude. I was like when I was in poly, I ran a record label. I opened a record label as well, so I set up like
Fresh
my own
Block.
company. Yeah, Fresh Block. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, of course.
Then when I was 18 years old, I was like going around to different venues, like pitching them, like, hey, we want to do this. We want to like hold this party here and there. So like we did quite a bit of stuff back then. So I was doing that. I was like working with a lot of different people. Looking back at it, it was quite interesting because like now as like a 30-year-old, like me, 30-year-old guy, like talking to somebody that's 18 years old and telling me that he want to do stuff at my venue, I'm thinking like, what the hell is going on, right? But these guys kind of like still like bought into whatever I was trying to sell. So that kind of meant something to me, right? That, things can be done if you really just try and push and just really just go for it. If you get rejected, it's fine. Then after that, when I left army, when I was like doing music full time, I ran another label, called Super Snacks.
Yes.
So we were doing like creative stuff, like doing shows, putting out music. At the same time, I was also kind of like running a production house for Sing Music. So we were like kind of like syncing music to like TV shows, stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. You were like quite hot,
Yeah. So it's a tough job because like it's not something that's like you get rich quick kind of thing, but you figure out another way to monetize music, right? So we have this thing going on, and then you kind of like have an idea of like what kind of music actually gets monetized well for like TV shows, advertisements, stuff like that, and you can kind of like imprint that mindset into as a business. How do you push it into being an artist, right? So there were like many different things that I was doing, like the brand side, operations side, the creative side. So when I was trying to find a job, it wasn't really the case of like I came from the creative industry, so it's very difficult for me to like maybe go into a different industry. Mainly because the mindset was more towards like just being an entrepreneur, right?
You're like founder. They hire you because you're a founder or something like that.
Could be, it could be, or it might be something else. So that's the mindset I went into. So I spent a long time to like find a job. And I'm pretty sure everybody else had the same issue because COVID, right?
I think typically like if you corporate and then you gonna sack or what, and you find a new job, it's typically 3 to 6 months, right? I think for musicians should be like even tougher.
Yeah. I would assume so. So yeah, it took a long time, but eventually I managed to find a place that was like super like a great fit.
Open-minded.
Yeah. So I went into the Web3 industry after that.
Still the same company, right? Since
I've changed like multiple companies.
oh shit!
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
the same industry.
Same industry. Yeah. So it's not exactly say like, to be honest, like corporate. Like when you send me the list of like questions, right? That the things that you want to talk about, then you're talking about like corporate life. Then in my head I was thinking like, am I really in a corporate life or not really, right? So I was like trying to then find the definition, like what does corporate actually really mean? But I think for my case, because like the industry that I went into was so new and it's like incredibly disruptive. So the power dynamics between like my colleagues, my superiors, and people that I work with are not exactly like very hierarchical, right? So it's like very flat. You essentially collaborate and do things. It's very startup kind of.
The boss still figuring out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really a startup culture thing whereby like it can be like early or late stage startup kind of thing whereby you are really just a doer and execute on things. You take the initiative to do things. So I guess that kind of worked out really well because as an entrepreneur, then you
also do everything.
have that mindset, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think startup, right, they hire you, they might not pay you a lot at the beginning, right? But they expect you to everything, multidisciplinary lah.
Yeah,
until
yeah,
the company start making, then they will either scale down your role or pay you more.
Can be the case. Can also be. I mean, I feel like it's very industry dependent as well. So like, if you're in an industry okay, like a great example I like to use is that if you're in an industry that's more towards cost cutting versus an industry that's value creating, you more or less have an idea which one pays you more, right? So
I think Web3 generally quite good one. Web3 product design, you know, like I was talking to somebody, right, about like, okay, we want to raise funds, right, for our music project, right, and then without like selling our souls, aka like go corporate, right? So we thought of like two ways. Either you can do music side by side with whatever you're trying to do, or right, you just quit music all the way, right, and then you just raise funds, earn money for like 5 years or something like that. What is the jobs that can earn you the most money? We talk about doctor, lawyer, product manager, you know, the standard shit, right? Yeah. So I guess maybe this could be the new way forward because after I don't know, this is like podcast fucking 108 or some shit like that.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. So I have so many groups of people quit corporate to become DJs. I also have quit DJ to become corporate.
Right.
You know, so I think quit DJ to become corporate like harder. But I think for you it's like smooth transition. Maybe you have been doing everything since day one.
I don't know, man. I think it's different for like different people, right? For me, it's really about just growing as a person. That's very important. So like I always have this thing whereby like, you know, like especially like in interviews, right, or when people are trying to figure you out kind of thing, they ask you like, where do you see in 5 years time? Where do you see yourself in 3 years time?
I stopped asking that question already.
It's a very old question, right?
Okay, not already, yeah.
Dude, like people still ask that kind of question, even though they themselves might not really have the answer. But my answer is always like, it's not about like money, it's not about position, it's not about like what other things I've acquired kind of thing, but more of like, I want to be somebody that when I look back 5 years ago, I tell myself that I did spend that 5 years like, well, I did spend my time well. So I think that's very important to me, whereby every time, like for every year that passed, when I look back, essentially, am I happy with the way I spend my time? So it can be music, it can be like anything else as well, right? So I think that kind of like, just that mindset was the thing that kept me kind of like going.
But how do you quantify time well spent, right? Because some people, I know some people is like, I need to make this amount of money. And then some people is, I need to get kids by this year. Yeah. So for yourself, it's like what? Learning maximum amount of things?
This is a very good point. Because different people kind of have like their different means, right? Yeah, for some people, like I guess like money is one thing. Some other people is like family is another thing. To me, I feel like a balance of everything is very important. Most importantly, it's kind of like that stability in your mind, right? So you need a certain amount of money, you need a certain amount of time with your family. You need things to be stable income. Only then you can kind of think straight, right? If you're so crazy about money, but you have no time with your family, I don't think you'll live a really good life. Some people might argue so, but
Wolf of Wall Street type shit, man.
yeah. But you know, like it's never the case of like I can only have one thing or else the other. Like you can kind of balance things. Like so, I like that balance. But most importantly, it's kind of like the growth in mindset. So like when you learn things, you get to experience new things. Like, do you kind of try to look back and tell yourself like, okay, what are the things that back then I had a different perspective, and after this year my perspective have kind of changed as well. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, when you say stability of mind, right, it reminds me of my mom says, right, the most important thing that you need to buy is peace of mind. Yeah. So when you do creative stuff, right, I see Skrillex interview. He's like, hey, bro, I cannot do music anymore, man. And then everybody's like, why? Because I got family and kids. I can't be locking myself in a room for 8 hours a day. I have to come out, you know. So I think music, when you truly go into your cave and do music, right, you are going into an unknown. It's like a blank canvas every single time. Yeah. It's actually, the process is quite chaotic. You're trying out different snares and you don't even know whether the result will be good or not, you know. There's so many uncertainty when creating that craft, right? And it doesn't help if your whole other part of your life is in a mess. So if you have some form of like peace of mind for most of your life, right, then you can dive in to create music.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. This is very good example. Yeah, I think it's not just music, right? It's literally like any decision that you make can be a good decision based on who, like your mind, your headspace at that point of time, right? And that's very important because like whatever things you do in the future, you know, like it affects you as well. So you want to be in the best position, right? That's why they always say that like, if you're in the middle of a crisis, you always have to like, kind of like take a step back, like really try to detach and then think through like what to do next. Yeah.
But also, I suddenly remember this. There's a very contrary thought. It's like the best music comes from suffering. right?
It's a great story. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking love the way you lie, all this. But okay, you know what? Now, right, because talking about team, right, like DS to 35 people or something like that, right? Recently I learned that even Hans Zimmer has a team. So he has co-composers, his composers has composers, you know, that kind of thing. So you, not necessarily as the artist, you need to feel the pain and the suffering. Maybe it can be one of the songwriters. You recently break up, right? I know this example. I think it's like John Summit or something. I don't know if you know John Summit, right? The tech house, right? Yeah. He has this collaborative. What song was that? John Summit Tears. Okay. You go back and listen, right? Wow, I think this girl is like up and coming, so not so famous on it. And then he's like, okay, I like your voice, right? Then I think in a video call they'll be like, what? You just break up? Okay, write a song now. The hell? And then she proceeded to do it, and then wow, you can hear the voice is like so raw.
Yeah, can you imagine like people monetizing your breakups? That's so funny.
But hey, Taylor Swift is now rolling in cash, man. She's happy already.
To me, I feel like it's a story thing. Like I guess these things can kind of be like sensationalized for quite a fair bit. But maybe for like some people when they write music, it's like very emotion driven kind of thing. But I don't know, for producers, I guess it's not exactly like emotions pouring into it. Like I feel so sad, let me work on this snare. It's like 15 minutes later, it's like, oh my god, I'm so upset, like I'm suffering so much. Wait, let me fix this like EQ. It doesn't work that way, right? The work stream is just different. So yeah, mate, I don't know if
I know why already. You know why music producers cannot do that? Because music producers are like project manager there. So you like all the singers, all these, they emotional, right? We must collect them together. Then what you call that? Collect and save all files, bro.
I think like producers, I guess like they kind of operate more like directors, right? Like piecing pieces together. Yeah. They see what other people don't really see. When they sing, when they play something, they hear what other people don't hear. So it's really like piecing these pieces together. Yeah. So it's a different kind of like the way
it's more technical.
It can be more technical, but that's also like one of the issues, I guess. Like if you're too technical, then you disregard all the emotions. So I think like the most amazing like artists that you can essentially find are people that have done production, they can write,
Mix
they
and
can
master.
sing. Mix and master is part of the technical part as well. Then they can perform.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's God itself. Really.
It's an artist, like
Yeah
a
lor.
full-fledged artist,
Yeah lor.
and you have a handful of those people,
Yeah.
and they do it extremely well. So I guess like for most people, they can kind of really aspire to be something like somewhat of that same caliber.
I heard that's like Taylor Swift or something, right?
Taylor Swift,
The production not so much, maybe a bit, you know.
yeah, I guess so. And there's a handful, I guess.
Yeah,
there's a handful.
It's quite a lot, yeah.
There's a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't think you are really focusing so much on your personal Perk Pietrek project as compared to your Good Luck Chuck project, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Good Luck Chuck is together with
Dire
your
Wolf.
manager or
He was actually my co-manager back then, but we
exactly.
we go way back. We go way back. Like
Hello.
he was he's a very good friend.
he used to be a guitarist or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
That's
the
how
guitarist.
long we
in
know
Good
each
Luck
other,
Chuck.
man.
Yeah, he is the guitarist in Good Luck Chuck as well.
Yeah.
Good Luck Chuck was or is like a project that I wanted to do that was entirely different from Perk Pietrek in a sense whereby not just like music, but more of about thinking process itself. So when it comes to like how are we going to market it, how are we going to design the way the songs are structured, how are we going to design the story behind Good Luck Chuck, we wanted to do it completely opposite from whatever Perk Pietrek was. So Good Luck Chuck was an extremely fun project, I would say. I feel like Good Luck Chuck is probably one of the few things that when it comes to music, I really enjoyed the most, even more than Perk Pietrek, because Perk Pietrek to me was like, it was me, and after some time it felt like a business.
At first, right, people thought like Pietrek is your DJ name, yeah, but it's your real name.
Yeah.
The door is like, why?
Why this guy is using a stage name? Like, he just let go of the no.
Quite a few times.
Yeah. So yeah, Good Luck
So
Chuck.
Perk Pietrek, how will you describe the Perk Pietrek as an artist? Turntablist, DJ, bass music. Is that right?
God knows, man. I have no idea.
Yeah, but Sunny is
God
like
knows.
Jungle Terror or right. You have
I was
Jungle Terror
doing,
face.
yeah, I was doing stuff that was very tribal heavy in percussions, and I still like that part of music. I enjoy like music that's relatively simple but very heavy in rhythms and percussion. So it just happened that like during that point of time, I think Jungle Terror was getting quite popular, so I fell into that. Then I was doing like Boombaton as well.
I feel like you're very mad decent, you know. Right.
Yeah, super decent. Yeah.
Major laser.
Then bass music came after that. Yeah, it's kind of like, to be honest, it's really all over the place. But that's the amazing thing about
shit.
Perk
Your
Pietrek. Yeah.
Stockholm White.
Oh, the the remix
Right.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was like, wow. Every Singaporean bass music artist is like, wow, fuck, Skrillex, play the song. Oh my god.
It's really amazing.
I bet they never message you, hey, I'm gonna play a song. It's just you suddenly find out through somebody else or something like that, right?
Yeah, dude. It's really amazing thing. I remember that back then when Skrillex was playing Ultra in Singapore or something. Then Skrillex was touring with that song for almost one whole year.
Yeah.
Right? Then
Every time.
yeah, whenever my friends go to like Taiwan or I don't know, like Thailand or whoever, whichever country that Skrillex was playing in is in the set list, then they'll send me the videos. I was like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
Then-
and he used your drop, Normally
Yeah.
he mash up some other
Yeah.
people's song, right? He replaced with his own drop.
Yeah.
But he replaced other
Use
people's
that
track with your drop, bro. Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's like a really interesting and like discovery in that sense. So every now and then people send you something. Then when he was playing Ultra in Singapore, I remember like But Shah sent me the clip. I think like a couple of other people sent me the clip as well. I said, dude, like Skrillex playing a song, man. Yeah, full circle moment at that point of time. So
Wow, imagine like you kinda invited on stage, right? Holy shit, man. Maybe you got more followers already from there. Bro, this simple gesture, right, would mean a lot, you know, for a small artist.
yeah, for sure. But I think at that point of time, it was just kind of like validation to tell me that this sound, this approach to music is working for me.
And you never milk it, no, actually. You should have, yeah.
I feel like that's the thing. Like sometimes you kind of want to be as forward thinking as possible, right?
Oh, next ready for you, next one.
Yeah, for me it's always like try to do next. But as a business point of view, obviously you try to make it as much as possible, right?
Yeah. I mean, like one eye to the future, one eye milking.
Yeah. It's a good perspective. I'd say so.
Then for good luck Chuck is like, would you say like classify it as like multi-sensory? Right.
I wanted to do it in a way whereby it's very visual driven. And when we first launched it, the idea was like, it wasn't really about like me or my partner, but it was more of like about the story of Chuck. And God knows like who the hell Chuck is, right? And we figured like, okay, maybe like after the years we just figure out like who Chuck is, and then we just like slowly write music. Yeah.
So it's just like an imaginary character.
Something like gorillas, for example.
Oh, do they have that story as well?
I'm not too sure, but it's very similar to that kind of like story building. Essentially, it's not really about the people behind it, but more of like what is created, which is the art itself, right? Yeah.
I think like in that sense, right, music is kind of like a therapy for your day job, lah. In a sense, whenever you all get together to jam, it's like always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. But I love what I'm doing right now. This thing. So yeah, I love what I'm doing right now, and like for all the opportunities that I've been given so far, I mean, I'm like super grateful. So I wouldn't exactly say that like music's my therapy for the day job. But more the case of it's just another fun thing I could do if I want to. Yeah. So every now and then I still like fall back and then spend some time here and there, but not to the point of like, okay, I need to release this and then next. So I've been trying to like explore the idea like this year, and talking to like a couple of music people as well, trying to meet up and like meet up old friends like you, right? Then the questions always go back. The question always kind of like go back to why would I want to put out music? Because I enjoy the process, but to actually put out music, it's a whole other thing, right? And then when I put out music, what am I going to do with it? Do I want to do shows after that? Do I want to like what's a measure of success for me? So I felt like there's so many things behind it that just the music process was what I enjoy. So I don't really have to think so much about do I want to put it out, because I guess like just me listening to it is kind of like good enough.
Wow, it's like Zen enlightenment already, bro. Yeah. I mean, like most people always have the I want to play main stage, I want to tour around the world kind of dream, right? But for you, it's like, you know, my day job is enough kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you get the opportunity to play main stage, you get the opportunity to work with artists that you admire so much. That's definitely one of the things whereby it's like dream come true, right? But the dynamic has changed to a point whereby it's no longer a business to me. So I don't need to survive on music. Yes. So the way you think is very different, whereby
don't need chong content.
Yeah, you don't need to do all this. Exactly. So it's different. Yeah.
So the other day when y'all were at Nova, right, I was like asking y'all, hey, if this music thing can actually make money, will y'all go into it? Wow, y'all instantaneously both replied, yes, man, of course.
Yeah, it's always the
but
case.
the step to making money to monetize, right, is like way harder. Remember Keith? He was like, hey, dude, if you work your engineering job, with 10% of the effort, right, that you're doing this Leonard thing, right, you probably make like the same amount of money, you know. Like you can make 10 times more money, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're killing it in music.
Maybe. Yeah. But I think it's like really a supply and demand kind of thing, lah. You know, a lot of people talking about like Jason Derulo, what's his biggest cash flow? Everybody thought it's his songs, man. It's not, yeah. He has a car wash, bro. He has a car wash chain that earns him most of his money.
But he kind of got the start from where music first, right? Then he got the money to put to a car wash. So
I think the fame will lead to other
stuff. I feel like well, I don't know. Maybe for some artists, if they really succeed and then they make good money, right? And I would say good money in the sense whereby definitely way higher than a median income, just as an example.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you could literally do a median income job rather than do music, right?
Right.
So if you make a lot of money, the thing about the entertainment industry, I feel, is that it's also very geared towards the point of like very materialistic things, right? So you have to present a certain level of status, present a certain level of I don't know, like
I think for pop stars only lah. DJs all just wear black t-shirt can already. So this Mafia still wearing black t-shirt now.
Yeah, it could be. But irregardless, there's still a certain amount of status that you have to present, right? So you can't possibly be somebody that if you want to be a well-known artist, you're essentially like going like thrift on everything. There's a certain level of status that you need to put through. And I feel like
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is rich too.
Yeah, but he takes Subway every day.
Yeah, but you see, these are the things whereby sometimes like based on impression, it might be different. So when these people like make their good money, they need to make sure that that money is kind of like kept well and maybe like invested well so that they can actually sustain their career and lifestyle. Yeah.
Something that a lot of people don't understand, right? It's like maybe music, right? You are like maybe the it girl or it guy for this century, this decade lah. Then suddenly, right? Oh, nobody care about you really because the next big thing is coming up. So you make a lot of money this season of your life, right? Then the next few seasons you need to learn how to like maintain or grow it lah via other things lah.
Yeah.
So right now I'm also like thinking about, should I do a little bit of property investment or stock investment, all that kind of thing, right? But as usual, right? Nobody knows where to start with all this kind of thing. It's so complicated when you look at it from the outside.
Yeah, it is. It's highly complicated, but it's a good step to move forward too. Yeah,
you have to.
You have to.
I feel like now really is like no choice one.
Not just no choice, but the entry to it is so much easier as compared to like back then. The amount of resources you have to be honest, like if people say that they are confused about investment and stuff like that, I feel like it can be kind of like an excuse. Like this book is difficult to read, so I'm not going to read it, kind of thing. Yeah, so it might take a long time to read it, but you should still read it. You shouldn't stop just because it's difficult, right? And you definitely wouldn't be killing it when you first start. If you're killing it, congrats.
The fuck, then everybody killing it already.
It's
so easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's a zero-sum game, end of the day. So if you do things well, there's somebody else that's losing money as well.
Oh, so, is it?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like trading and all that, somebody have to buy and somebody have to sell.
Some people buy the rise, some people buy the fall, right? Something
you
like
need to do
futures, blah, blah, blah.
What do you call it? Buy high, sell low kind of thing. So you buy high, and then when the thing start crashing, you panic and then you start selling. Yeah, so it's a very important part of everybody's lives. So people should definitely invest time into it.
Because I think right now, right, it's like you work one job also not enough really for a lot of people lah. So they start to like do side hustles and all that kind of thing to maintain their lifestyle, or they can see in the future, right? Oh, when I already I cannot work so hard, so I now double down, triple down, you know. And then eventually when you're older and then you cannot sustain so many jobs, right? You will have to have some sort of like passive vehicle of some sort lah. So I remember, how old is Koflo? Like 10 years older than us. 8 years, something like that. So I remember when I was like in my 20s, he's in 35, right? And he's like, wow, I regret, man, I should have saved. And then I thought that was very good advice.
Okay.
Like, same, I'm 35 this year, I'm going to tell anybody, right? Save is very important because when you save, right, it's 100% guarantee you get the money versus investment is like you can lose, you can earn, right? And then after that, then you start with some simple shit, like maybe like robo investor that's low risk kind. And then from there, you talk to people, read more books. Probably not books now in this day and age, right? People watch YouTube videos, right? Then after that, trust your own research lah. Because a lot of people say certain things will do well, right? But it's based on their knowledge. You see, so they invest, right? But they know when to pull out and pull back in again because of their knowledge of that particular market lah. So I just watched this stock dude lah. It's like, oh, because I work in tech, so I'm very familiar with the tech world, right? So I dare to invest in this stock because I know when to put in, when to come up, and when to go back in again. Yeah. So I think maybe for us, entertainment industry, maybe we can look more towards those kind of entertainment companies, like record labels, or fucking, if you're a huge Tesla fan, maybe you can look into technology as well.
Yeah, I like how this conversation is moving towards like the finance side.
This is not financial advice, but
not financial advice.
Money is the root of everything that we want to do lah. We have a little bit of financial stability, right? Then we can do whatever the fuck we want, you know.
Yeah, it's very important. Financial stability gives you a certain level of like
musical
baseline.
freedom.
Yeah, musical freedom, like baseline for you to work with. But I think it's also about like talking about risk taking, right?
Yeah, what's your risk appetite?
Yeah, what's your risk appetite and all that. In music, especially like I guess like in entertainment, I guess the risk appetite is fairly high for people to move into this sort of career. So there needs to be balance, right? So maybe like when it comes to saving and investing, you are a little bit I don't know, maybe a little bit more adventurous, I would say so. Then vice versa kind of thing. But end of the day, it's very important for people to figure out like what's the time frame, their risk appetite, how much are they comfortable to invest, things like this. I think just taking that step towards there is a really like good sign, because like you essentially can only earn so much, and whatever money that you save up needs to be grown in a certain way as well. So like buying a property, buying your own place, that's important. As well.
Yeah, I heard from the same video that I watched, it's like, Singaporeans like to do the flip condos method, flip condo strategy, right? But there's a lot of risk in that lah. And he finds that maybe stock is like a better way to go, because stock got different risk level, right? You can start from the lowest one, then slowly work your way up. But property is just like, if the market is not good, then everybody is not good, So it's very like singular, one dimension. So y'all can go and search some resources and then find ways lah. Because saving it in your bank account, right, is not enough, because bank account interest cannot beat inflation, and then you're getting poorer every year lah. So, shit, I was about to say something, I forget already.
You're talking about property now.
No. Yes, I remember already. So, okay, I was speaking to a social media influencer like 5 years ago lah. And then she was like, even though I am quite popular, I'm not super popular, I'm quite popular, and I'm getting brand deals, right? But I'm still working a day job, because I want to have a stable base, right? So I can reject certain jobs. And I feel that it is the same for music as well. Because when you are doing music or the arts or whatever, right, your main vehicle of making money, right, is actually not music. Is brand deal, sponsorship, things that require your face. And it's very important for branding and what you associate yourself with. So what kind of gigs you take, what kind of venues you show up at. And I think with a stable source of income, right, then you can be more picky, right?
Right. That's a good way to put it. I guess it's like the position of power, right?
And then you got leverage, you can ask for higher fees, blah, blah, blah.
You can choose what you want to do. That's why I said, like, if you're doing music as a full-time career, a full-time job, there's a certain limit to like what can you say no to and what you have to agree to. But it's also very dependent on how much you make, right? So then you fall back to the economics of like within Singapore itself, domestically, it's so small, there's only so much you can make as well. So if there's only like 10 DJs in Singapore, I think maybe they probably will do pretty okay. But you got like so many DJs all fighting
with so little population.
So it's different in that sense.